Guys, this here finally happened. Yes, I went to see Judas Priest live in Prague yesterday. I'm going to talk about that in this video. It's a gig that I've been waiting for a really long time. They were supposed to tour with Ozzy Osbourne originally, and then COVID came. Ozzy got sick, it kept getting postponed. And then I thought, okay, it's not going to happen. But then Judas Priest dropped a new album, luckily, and they announced this tour, so I was very excited. The album is great. I did a review on that. You can check that up here, actually. I hadn't seen them since 2015, and it's not every day that you get to see those legends that have been with you your whole life, you know? But I also had some concerns. Was I overexcited? You know what can happen if you build up some excitement over time, and then when the real thing happens, it can go wrong, you know? And then the arena here in Prague, it doesn't always have a good sound. I've seen some really good bands deliver some really bad shows in that arena. The crowds here can also often remind you of a funeral more than a concert, so I was worried about that. And the $1 million thing was, can a 72-year-old Rob Halford still sing? And it actually turned out that some of these concerns were real, but then there were also other things that I didn't see coming that happened there. So Judas Priest are on the Invincible Shield Tour to follow up on that great album that just came out, and they have an amazing lineup with Uriah, Heep and Saxon opening for them. I'll talk a little bit about those two bands after I talk about Judas Priest. The arena is a 15,000 seat stadium here in Prague, and it was packed, you know, already at 6:30 when Uriah Heep started, everybody was in their seats, everybody's on the floor. The merch was kind of cool, but a little bit pricey, like $50 per t-shirt or $48. Judas Priest came on at 9 o'clock, and they started with a super cool intro. You just gotta see this, guys. This song, Panic Attack, from the new album, is just such a great opener, you know, and I could feel it immediately. The energy and the sound was there. The building was not gonna let us down this time. The guitar sound was super thick, and that kind of continued into the next song. You got another thing coming, and at that point, me and my friend who was with me, we kind of nodded to each other. It's fucking on now. And the opening 4 songs, I would say, the crowd was really on. The 4th song was Breaking the Law. Everybody went nuts, of course. But then it kind of dropped a little bit, the energy, and I don't know, I felt the crowd was not really switched on. There were 3 songs there in a row, like Invincible Shield, the title song, and then Victim of Changes and You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise. Those 3 songs in a row, they kind of dragged the energy somehow out of the whole thing. The crowd wasn't really engaged. I was a little bit bored. It's silly to sit and watch these masters of metal and be bored. And to be honest, I felt there that Rob could have stepped up a little bit, because it was only after like 12 songs that he kind of, between songs, sang with the crowd and got them to repeat after him and all that stuff. And that actually really got them going. And if he would have just done that after 5 or 6 songs or something like that, I think he could have maintained a higher energy. And another thing about him kind of getting them to sing along with him is that it kind of killed all doubts about his voice. You know, anyone who was thinking that he was singing with a backing track or whatever would have drop that doubt, because you could hear it when he was doing that. His voice is so strong. It's fucking amazing from a 72-year-old guy. Now, the rest of the band was really good. I mean, Richie Faulkner is kind of like Glenn Tipton and KK Downing had a child and it stepped on stage. You know, he just kind of fits right in there. And the rest of the band, you know, Andy and Scott and Ian Hill, you know, they kind of they create that platform that allow Richie and Rob to kind of shine, you know. The mix was a bit up and down there, and I don't know if it is because the catalog that they're playing from is so diverse. I mean, they were from 10 different albums, so it's different eras and all that. But there were a few songs where I felt that the mix was just bad, you know, like the bass and the drums got too much in the front, and that kind of killed down the guitars and the vocals somehow. Yeah, I felt that overall the whole flow of this was kind of, it started off really well, like 7-8 songs were good, and then it dropped a little bit, and then the last 4 songs were really killer. There was Painkiller, Electric Eye, Hellbent for Leather, and Living After Midnight. And you gotta see this guy. So Rob obviously came in on the motorbike in the intro of Hellbent for Leather. He sang most of the song actually from the motorbike. The show was really cool in general, like lights that kind of were thematic and changing according to what they were playing. And there was a mega screen behind them, and then, you know, that Judas Priest cross was kind of hanging in the air and sometimes coming down to the floor and moving up and down. The setlist was 17 songs out of 10 different albums, and I think that's kind of fair, you know, considering that they had two really strong opening acts. But there were two songs that I would have liked to see on there that were not there. There was the Sentinel and Free Will Burning, instead of like Victim in Chains and You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise. So now to the verdict, guys. The good stuff. Rob could sing better than I dared to wish for. He is great, actually. And also the guitar sound, most of the time, apart from those mix issues, was amazing. It was so thick. It was so cool. The show is really cool. I mean, it really kind of enhances what they're doing musically because it, yeah, follows the themes, but it doesn't, it's not too much. There's not too much fireworks. It's not Kiss or something like that. And there are not too many songs that I felt were missing. It's not like a gig where you went to and you're like, oh, I didn't hear that song. I didn't hear that song. I would have liked to hear that song. Most of the stuff was there, actually. The bad stuff, yeah, the mix went off a few places. The crowd was really dull, and I think I can place that partly on the band. I know that the crowds here are difficult, but Rob could easily have done what he did after song 12 earlier in the program. Then I think the arrangement of the setlist could be a little bit different with those three songs that I mentioned before. I would have put them, if you necessarily want to have these songs in, put them somewhere else, break it up a little bit, because those three in a row just didn't really work. So I'm gonna give this concert 8.5 out of 10. I would go and try and see them again. This was only the 10th gig on their tour, and they're gonna play a lot of festivals in the summer, so I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna get better and better. Let me know if you were there, or if you have seen them somewhere else on the tour, or you're about to see them, and what you think about them. Now, briefly about the opening acts. Uriah, Heep, they were really, really good. They have such power and energy, and they did 8 songs out of like kind of all of their catalog, you know, those 50 years that they've been playing. And it's one of those bands that I have really high admiration for somehow. I saw them 2 years ago, they were on fire. And the same thing yesterday. Their sound was really good, and the singer, he spoke a little bit of Czech, and that really got the crowd going. And that's the key to the Czechs. Tell them you like their beer, say 2 words in Czech, and they will eat from your palm. But unfortunately, Saxon was a disappointment. It's a band that I really like. I love their songs. I like their latest album. I actually did a review on it. I like that album. But somehow their sound was totally off. They were victim to the sound yesterday. It kind of messed up in a way that I sometimes even thought that the drums and the guitars and the bass were playing different songs, or that they were offbeat or something like that. It was just not good, which is sad because it's a great band with great songs, but it just was not their night yesterday. And I'll be very happy if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel for more concert reviews, album reviews, and interviews. And then I want to tell you about this video here, about the Invincible Shield album. I want to ask you, do you agree with my review of that album? And then I have this review here of the Mandrake project that Bruce Dickinson did the other day. See you over there.